no idea who she is.
So
but what
you
am
check
I?
that she going kisses. She must want to work for me. Come on. Now that the Bambi and I have become allies, it's time for me to teach her the facts of life. Now she's pretty enough, but is she strong enough? I think it's time to find out. Seem like your eggs got legs.
Wow.
And as I can see, some ass.
Well, this is Bam.
Hi, how are you?
My lady. This is my friend Erica.
I'm sorry to hear about everything that happened.
What's everything that happened?
You know, what happened with the pregnancy. I'm sorry about that.
You told her? Why would you be telling her my personal business?
No, it was like some friendly type.
How long have you been knowing her to be telling her my personal business, though?
No, I mean, just a minute. I mean, you know, I told you when we met.
But I'm saying, like, who is she to be knowing my business?
Well, you told me everything, though. Hold on.
As Lil Scrappy sat in his living room, the glow from a single lamp casting long shadows over the room, his mind raced back to the moment that had broken his heart just hours earlier. The words Bambi had spoken still echoing in his ears. The night was thick with silence, the kind of silence that only follows moments of profound change. He couldn't comprehend it after everything they had gone through, including the highs and lows, the passion, the disagreements, the laughter, and the tears. He thought they were finally on the same page, and this was meant to be. When the proposal went beyond a simple inquiry, it was his way of letting Bambi know that he was in this for the long haul. Her refusal was like a kick in the face. He had never felt so exposed and vulnerable after giving her his heart. With a bitter taste in his mouth, Scrappy's chest constricted as his mind raced, his heart burning with frustration. He had worked so hard to establish a future with her, to prove to her that he had changed and was prepared to offer her everything. Ultimately, though, it wasn't enough. The rejection hurt more than he could have ever imagined, and the room felt like it was closing in on him. The phone rang twice before Erica picked it up, and her voice sounded sweet and familiar, but it didn't sound like it was Erica Pinkett. Scrappy got up suddenly, needing to do anything to divert his attention from the whirlwind of emotions. So he grabbed his phone and dialed a number without realizing it was her. Supply him with the solace he desired. Scrappy spoke in a low, somewhat tremulous voice, as though the weight of his feelings were suddenly leaking out. "I need to talk," he said, "but I'm not sure what to do." Erica hesitated, remembering that tone from a previous encounter. It was more about Bambi than the proposal, and she wondered what had occurred to Scrappy. "Bambi rejected me," but Erica's voice soothed the worry that was in her words. The Erica when he told her the truth, his voice cracked a little. "I offered her everything I had, but she rejected me. Too much new pain. I believed that we were a good match, and that I could entrust her with my future. But now it seems strange." Erica's thoughts were racing as she heard him speak. She could sense his suffering, but she also wondered if Scrappy had anticipated this. He had been so committed to making things work with Bambi, but it always felt like they were two people battling their own issues and finding it difficult to come together. "I'm sorry, Scrappy." Erica responded, "You can't," slowly, allowing the words to sink in. "You must acknowledge that you cannot continue to put your all into someone who is unwilling to meet you halfway if you want to make them love you or be ready for something they aren't. She isn't like you. I don't know what to do now. I thought I was done making the same mistakes, but hearing it from Erica hit him differently. He had known this truth, but Bambi wasn't ready. Perhaps she had never been. Perhaps she was still battling her own demons. "Mess. I feel like I'm losing my path and constantly after something that I can't have." "You must let her go, Scrappy." Anything may hurt a lot, but occasionally the best thing you can do for yourself is to let go of something that is already slipping away. Erica didn't sugarcoat anything. After the conversation finished, Scrappy's phone felt heavy in his hand. He gazed at the screen for a while, almost hoping that something would change the fact that Erica had just revealed, but nothing did. The truth was unavoidable. He couldn't keep following Bambi since she wasn't. She might never be prepared for him, but perhaps she would be for a long time. He stood there feeling uncertain about what to do next. Then his thoughts drifted back to the good times he had spent with Bambi, the love they had shared, and the raw intensity that had always existed between them. This is not how it should have ended. Meanwhile, across town, Bambi was sitting curled up on her couch, the gentle glow of her phone screen shining on her face, and the text from Scrappy was still there, unopened, after she had seen the proposal. Although she was aware that it was coming, the emotions that erupted inside her when he knelt down took her by surprise. Her heart wanted to say yes, but her head was telling her that she loved him but wasn't prepared for the level of commitment he was requesting. Since her history had left her traumatized, Bambi had always been the kind of woman who had trouble trusting others. Even though she loved Scrappy, her heart was broken by years of unsuccessful relationships, and she was terrified to fully commit to. He was scared of showing vulnerability in a way that she couldn't control, and the rejection had broken her. However, she had to face the fact that she wasn't there yet, and the weight of her choice was suffocating her. She had pushed him away, not because she didn't care, but because she was afraid she would never be enough for him. As the hours went by, Bambi's mind whirled as she replayed her feelings of rage and grief. Why shouldn't they just be happy together? Why did love have to be so complicated? Spending every moment with Scrappy even though the timing wasn't right for her, a small part of her wondered if she had made the biggest mistake of her life. The following day, Scrappy tried to move on, but his thoughts kept returning to Bambi. He told himself to let it go, but how could he? His heart wasn't ready to give up on her. Perhaps Erica was right, he thought. Wanted to go on, but every part of him resisted the notion that he had devoted so much of his time, love, and future to something that appeared to have so much promise. But he was torn between the lady he loved and the harsh reality that she wasn't prepared for him and Bambi. She sat in her apartment alone, staring at her phone, the decision looming over her like a cloud. She wanted to contact Scrappy to apologize and explain, but she was hesitant because she wasn't sure if he would understand. Or would he view her as just another woman incapable of making a commitment? What if it was too late after their strained relationships? In the quiet aftermath of their decisions, Scrappy and Bambi were both attempting to navigate a future neither of them could have predicted. The emotions were raw, and the pain was unavoidable, but they both knew that love couldn't be forced, and that sometimes the hardest decisions were the ones that set you free. However, they weren't sure if they would eventually find their way back to each other or move on. Uncertainty remained over something new. Long after the heartbreak subsided, they were certain that their love would endure in their hearts.